What you doing? Are you sneaking around? Hi. Are you sneaking? You are. Are you being sneaky? Hmm? Oh, he's cute. He's cute. What do you think about that, Regan? Huh, Regan? What do you think about Ain't? What's he doing up there? Is he being dangerous? You better tell him about Druthers. Tell him about Druthers. Say, don't jump. No jumping. Tell him, don't jump. You'll smack your face on something. No. No. You're gonna end up like your brother. No. Hey. No. You do this every night? Oh boy, his brother hurt himself, smacking himself someplace, and he completely lost his inhibition entirely. And he did more and more dangerous things because he had no inhibition anymore. He brain damaged himself. And he ended up a little daredevil, and he dove in his water and pinned himself and drowned himself. And Reckon's never been the same. That was his bonded buddy. And now I catch this one doing it. He's trying to jump up. He wants to get up. He wants to get up to the light wires up here. Boy, I don't know, dude. I think I'm gonna have to move your plant. Yeah. We're gonna move your plant because you're being a daredevil. Oh no. You're not taking any risk. No, we're not. You better be a good boy. Hey. No. You better be good. Mommy will cry. You don't want me to cry, do you? You want to make me cry? You never stop crying for your brother. I miss him. He loved me so much. You don't love me so much. Hey, Reckon, what you think? Buddy? What do you think? Is he being bad? You're watching him, aren't you? Yeah. 'Cause you saw that behavior. You're the good boy. He's the careful one. He's wise. This one is foolish. What you doing? Huh? Come on, let's go get your wormies. Come here. Ooh. Squirmy wormies. Come on, get them. Get them, get them. Get them. Go get them. Yummy, yummy. Let's go get him. Boop. There he is. Come on. Let's go get him. Boop. Let's go get your wormies. Come on, buddy. Come on. I'm glad I caught you. We're going to move your plant tonight. You better get down. No. I used to tell his brother no, but oh my goodness. Now I don't leave them to chance. Stuff is empty in here for a reason. I had to put the plastic over here on the screen because he would get his fingers caught in these holes. He was climbing up it. All he has to do is slip and he'll tear his fingers off. So you think toads are just, simple? No, they're not simple. They're busy at night. They got ideas. Their very own ideas. Right? Right, buddy? Ain't. Mommy's gonna have to make you want to run away. I'm gonna move your plant. Yeah. I'm gonna move your plant. I'm gonna haze you from being stupid and reckless. A daredevil. Come on, buddy. Come here, Ain't. See, we had druthers. He got druthers. And then we had, oh no, this reckon. He reckons. I was thinking I'm living in another time when druthers was here. Reckon is I reckon. Druthers is the one we lost. And he druther, either druther do or druther don't. And Ain't was no part of it. He was like, I ain't. No, I ain't. You ain't picking me up. I ain't coming to you. I ain't eating that bug. I ain't getting out of the pond. See, his brother would have been trying to get under those rocks and pin himself. He jumped on anything and everything you have in here, and he would keep trying until he would hurt himself. He loved to climb. I would be surprised if they didn't have some tree frog in them. If they're a frog, you got tree frog. Not pond frog, no bullfrog. The best thing I ever did was stop putting coir in here. No coir. I don't even like the moss. This dirt is from Joss's Frogs. It comes with moss. I had it in here for, I bought it. I had it in here for 2 days. And little by little, I was like, it's smelling stronger. And then the fourth day, it was mildew. It was so bad, mildew. So I took it out. I put it in a baking pan, big baker's pan. Baked it at 230 degrees for an hour and a half. And it's nice and fresh and clean. See? Smells great in here, doesn't it, Reckon? Doesn't it smells great in here, huh? It smells so nice and fresh. Just like I had the Miracle Grow Organic. It's a bit expensive. I got it like $9 at Ace Hardware, but on Amazon it was like $17, and I couldn't afford another bag. But I just didn't like that one. It had perlite in it, and I don't want them eating perlite. But it lasted. It didn't spoil. No gnats. No nothing. It didn't mildew at all. I had them I had an extra little tub like this. When I would wet their soil so they like it, but then they wouldn't come out of it. So I was like, well, let me just try converting to all soil. And I am still really afraid they're gonna get something, but I learned on my research on the internet that a frog has the ability to vomit. That is a really good thing. And they showed a video of the little toad vomiting out something he shouldn't have swallowed when he was trying to get a bug. And I was so relieved by that. So I know it's not 100%, but it's close to at least 95. And that's better. Reckon he's a good boy, man. When little... I didn't know. I went to bed. I thought everything was peaceful. I took one last glance at druthers, a little bit concerned, but just tried to ease my mind and say you did everything you could to make things safe in there. Went to bed. Came out. I went to change their little water in the pond, and there he was, stuck. And I had to go look at my Wise camera video. Oh my gosh, the pain. I can't even tell you how bad it hurts to lose your favorite toad in the world. I could barely say it. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. It still hurts so bad. And these guys, they're not like him. I think when he did his head damage to himself, you know, he was a little more like them. But he got this itching in his mind to, like, he wanted to get up on top. I had like a little cookie jar. It was like, oh, about so tall, and you know, he was like this big, and it was about so tall. And all he had to do was just jump from there to there. But when he jumped, he had so much force, and he aimed wrong, and he smacked his head on there. This rock was in front of it, so he could climb up in. And he landed on the rock, and he rolled over, and he just laid there. All this was on the Wise Cam video. That happened before he ended his own life. And he just laid there after he rolled off the rock kind of slow, and he just laid there for a minute, and he was just different after that. He was super loving, super playful. I mean, he was the life of the party. He wrecked the cage every night. Every night. Like, if this lamp was here, he'd be up there. You'd see him in the video doing something. I had to take all the little things out that he could climb on and make it. That's why it's so, you see how it is? It's like everything's low except for this lamp right here. Yeah, he's trying to get up. He wants to get up to these wires up here and do a monkey swing or something. I don't know 100% that they can see really good that far away. They really have better eyesight close up. They don't really get interested in things till they're almost nearly on top of them. So I don't know. Oh gosh, I'm still very deeply sad over my little guy. He would run, like, he would run up to the window, and he would, as soon as he saw me across I guess they can't see actually, because he would see me, he recognized me, and he would run up to the window, and he'd be pacing back and forth like, come and play with me. Then I'd come in, and he'd like walk around and do little things, and then I'd like splash with him. He'd get in the water. He does what he did always, the first thing, like go run into his water, like play with me. And I'd do this, and he'd be diving, and then he'd start like doing everything he could to splash. He'd be going jumping out, jumping in, jumping out, anything to get a splash. He was the cutest little, oh my gosh. I played with toads so much when I was little. I had a good amount of personality from all these different little toads, and I never had one like him. But he was not like that until after he smacked his head really hard. And it was after the fact, like, he did these things while I was sleeping. I had the video camera running, and I wake up and he looks fine. He's just happy as a little piggy. He's running around, and I don't know. It's hard to talk about him still, And I love to talk about him because he's beautiful. He was just the best in the world. And reckon, this is the sad story, was what container I had was a clear container for the water with rocks in it and everything, and rocks going up to it. Make it a little deep so he could play. Big mistake. That was my mistake. Never give them water deeper than they can. Like, if they sit and it's on their shoulders, that's as deep as they need it, because he went in the little pond. He just got behind the rocks and got disoriented, and he couldn't figure out his way. I had to have rocks for them to get up out, and rocks for them on the outside to get up in. and he got disoriented and he couldn't pin. The whole video showed the whole thing, his last bubbles coming out of him, everything, and I'm sick at heart that I slept through it all. This little guy, he was sitting on the outside edge of this glass, or not glass, but clear plastic box with their pond water in it. And he watched him, and when he saw he didn't come up, he walked all the way around, got up on, he sat right there in the corner and looked in, and he saw nothing. Or he was looking where he was. He was looking where he was. He might have been able to see him through the glass. I don't know if he could recognize him. He went up on the rocks, and he sat on the outside of the rock, of the container, and he put his one hand inside of the water, and he just one hand, and he just waited, like he's waiting to feel something. He could tell, he could detect the movement, and he felt nothing. And he took his hand out and he put it in one more time. He felt nothing, and he went straight to his bed, and he did not come out for days and days. I had to go get him out of the bed. Like he knew. Oh my gosh. Such a painful for all of us. And he was bonded with druthers. Oh man, and Ain't was the loner. He I don't know why he slept with them, but he'd often like move off and go sleep by himself somewhere. Druthers and Reckon always slept like one piled on top of the other. Didn't matter who was on. They slept one piled on top of the other all the time. This breed. I've watched a lot of videos of the American toads, tongue punching each other, fighting for territory and all this stuff. These guys right here are the sweetest, most docile. Oh my goodness, they are precious. They never fight, they never compete. They talk together, they sleep together. Now, after, when I had them with a little bed, they always slept in the bed, they used to have a little bed, another different little bed, and they would go up in it and snuggle up together. But after I had been putting their dirt in one of these, moist, and the rest of the dirt dry, they slept separately, and they haven't slept. If Reckon and Druthers were still together, they would be sleeping piled one on top of the other. They would not sleep separately. They were bonded. And I miss him. I miss coming in and like going, what the heck did you do? It's a wreck in here. And then having to go and look at the video and see all the crazy things he was doing, and how this one would sit there very calmly and watch him the whole time, just like he did that night he went swimming. No, don't let your toads go swimming. They're like toddlers, man. You can't let a toddler go swimming. Don't let them go swimming. Now my son got me this, so I'm gonna just stick it up here for some light so you can see him better. Oh, he's precious. Where'd he go? There he is. He's cute. Oh my goodness. I love them. He's a little hard to see. There he is. Look at that little brat. He's doing this. This guy, he escaped twice. He waited until he knew I wasn't looking. I have memory impairment, and I forgot to close the door while I went to go get some water in his dish. And I came back, and at first I didn't notice he was gone. I closed everything up and then went back a little bit later just before going to sleep and looked for him. He was gone. Had no clue where he went. We found him right near the vacuum cleaner, no less. Like, I was worried about that. I thought he'll try to go up the hole in the vacuum cleaner, maybe get in the bag or something. Oh my gosh, we finally found him. I think was the first time it was just the first time it was like 2 days later or a day and a half later. Very scary. The second time, we kind of knew which way he headed, so it was a shorter amount of time, like a few hours or something like that. Both times he headed in the same direction where we keep the vacuum cleaner, so I'd put the best thing you can do if your toady is missing is just take a wet rag and put it in a dish like this. Make sure it's not chlorinated water, but or if you have to use the chlorinated water, just put the rag wet, sopping, just a sopping rag in there, and they will come, and that's probably where you'll find them sitting. This is sneaky little guys. He'll be sitting in there, and they really like when they're soaking up water with their drinking pad. Like, they almost don't move for anything. It's almost like when a dog goes pee, he can't stop peeing. Or a man, they have to finish. So this is kind of out of focus. There we go. It's got reflection of things behind the window, so that's all he does. Tries to get out. He wants to escape. After the second time, he hasn't tried. Like, I'm a lot more careful. I put these little things. They're for leather crafts, but I glued it on. And then what I do is I have to re-glue it. I have this magnet, right? And when they're glued on, I use super glue. It keeps coming off. I'm going to use E6000 next time. But when you have it on both sides, what happens is when you shut this door, the two magnets will line up together and bring the doors closed. And the thing is, it helps it to see, because the other one's not on. Let me put it on, see if it doesn't misbehave. So when you put it on, say the door is a little open like this and go like that, it brings the door shut. So when you lock it, they're both there together. They like to be like that, and the door so also what I had to do right here was take it and stick it up like that, and I used a file to give it like a little leaning in edge, so it would be a little slightly leaning in. This way it wouldn't catch right on the edge of the glass over here, since this is very slightly rounded, very slightly on the corners, on the edges. But this way it would glide up and it would force the glass to go in. And that's been a big help. So when I shut the doors, but I gotta get these glued back on. That's my deal. And they had a 20-gallon tank when all that other stuff happened, and we lost Reckon or Druthers. Gave him little hillbilly names. But Reckon, he's like a watchdog. He keeps an eye. He's smart. He's wise. He was a baby when I got him, but that's him. That's his personality. He's wise. He was only maybe a couple of months older and very, very slightly bigger than the others, and they were just little tiny guys. And he'd already gotten himself wise. He already figured out stupid is too stupid for himself. So, but it ain't. He doesn't like to be touched. He lets me, but he doesn't like it. He'll hold very still, or he'll freeze like he's hiding. He's not really there. If I pick him up, he'll pee on me. He peed on me one time. They're really good. I got a little bit of my doggy's hair. I don't like to get any kind of dog hair in their enclosure. I just have that little phobia, but oh man, I just tell you, I wish I could just pick them up and play with them. See, he starts getting these goosebumps, his boof bumps. You got boof bumps? Buddy? He's so cute. I love him. And then they wipe their face like, I don't want that. I don't want that. He's not doing it now. Sometimes he does. He's really cute. Yes, he is. He's a cute boy. Reckon's very sweet. He's a really sweet boy. He's a little nervous when he comes out of his cage, but if you pick him up inside here, he's a really good boy. He doesn't get boof bumps as easily. Yeah, he's a good boy. Look at him, he's gonna go to sleep. He's getting pettins. You get your pettins? He likes when I heaps the dirt on him. Want some dirt? Look. Ooh, he likes his dirt. Want some dirt, buddy? Ah, that feels so good. Yes, it does. Look at him. Gotta get it off your nosy. Oh, he's cute of him. Look. You like the dirt? It feels so soft and secure, huh, honey? You feel safe and secure? How about you? You want some dirt? He usually runs away if I try to cover him. You want dirt? You want some dirt? I give you. Let's get the moist one. I'll get some moisty dirt. I'm surprised he's letting me. There. How's that, buddy? He likes the dirt? Yes, he does. Want me getting it in your face? Oh, look how cute. There he goes. Yes, he's safe and secure. See? That feels great. Yes, it does. He'll just climb right out of it. He feels trapped if it's me doing it. You're feeling trapped? I know. 'Cause you're a wild thing. Reckon it's tame, huh? You can't get that wild out of him. Reckon he understands. Where's your brother? You miss your brother? I miss your brother. Oh, so sweet, so precious. These are the most innocent things in the universe. Like, they're docile. They don't fight. If they boof, it's not even their fault. Like, they don't do any of that intentionally. I couldn't imagine somebody getting mad if their boof comes out of their glands, because you gotta go really slow with them, move them slow, talk to them a lot, talk to them really softly. They're like bunnies. People think some bunnies are more, they don't mind being held, but everything I read said they didn't. I thought, oh, I'm really good with animals. I'm gonna overcome that. I was not able to overcome it. If I picked her up, my little Holland Lab, she was like, she would spray the whole living room full of poop, and I'd have to pick up each one of them. Each one. I had a bad husband once, and yeah, he would get stupid every winter and kick me and my daughter out, and the third time I didn't come back. But on my way out, I took his jar full of pennies, and I said, I'm not going to do nothing bad to this guy, but you know what, he's going to think about me while he's cleaning up these pennies. And later, you know, I got one of these like surprise calls. He found my number, he called me up and telling me how I remember when you put those pennies all over, and I didn't understand why. And he said it himself. He's like, but I spent a lot of time thinking about how you were good and you and I shouldn't have done what I did. Well, it reminded me of this bunny, and she would punish me and make me think about how I shouldn't chase her out of the bathroom again. She wanted to make that little bathroom her house, and there was a potty that she could get up on. It was for my dogs. It had a stairs to get up to it, and it would drain straight into the toilet, and I could just pour water in it and wash it down. And she loved it. She thought that was the best. She loved peeing where the dogs would go pee, and she loved being with them. Like we're the farm animals together, and we the family. She accepted them better than she accepted me, but she'd punish me every single time and growl at me and charge me if I tried to take her out of that bathroom, because she liked to be behind the toilet where it was cool. But the fireplace had like a it was raised, so it had like a flat brick thing across, about 8 inches high from the floor or so. She liked to sit up there too, but she'd mark it, pee it. She was fixed. I had her fixed young, like at the perfect age for her, and not too young, but at the perfect age that they say you should do it. And no, she's still marked, and she's still punished. And she'd sit there watching me clean up every little, the way it was sprayed everywhere, man. She knew. You're gonna be here a while thinking about what you did wrong to me. Yeah, he's cute of him. I love him so much. I'm surprised he hasn't bailed out of his pile there. He usually does. Maybe because my hands are in here. I'll take my hand away and see. I'm gonna have to. I leave the little bit of dirt in here. These little worms do like it. This one wasn't doing good, and he's finally passed away. He wasn't doing so great when I put him in there. That's what happens. But I take this kind of thing out because we don't need that. But they do like, they actually enjoy eating not only the wheat bran, but also the dirt, a little bit here, a little bit there. These things are very, very soft. You can't even get a splinter from them. But I was surprised to see they like to eat dirt, especially moist dirt. They like the water of it. I'm sure about that. But they actually eat the stuff. They eat it. You'll see them disintegrate a pile like that. This I'm gonna clean out. They still do eat their own frass. And over here I have my first brood of darkling beetle larvae. The eggs hatched, so now they're in here. They usually congregate, so if you don't see them here, here's one. If you don't see them, you'll dig like this, you'll see a pile. So they were kind of like staying really tiny for a long time in this rolled oats. Here they are. And what I did was I went into the container, when you get these containers, and I had a fresh 500 of them. I dug down underneath the wheat bran and got a big scoop of frass and threw it in here, and the babies really started thriving then. They grew fast. And they're only, I don't know, like a week old. Now, I'm having a little trouble finding them. They're in there though. Get a light. There's one. Yeah. But they're usually in a pile together, a whole bunch of them. And if I do this, you see this frass? That's what they love. And they don't seem to like the wheat bran better than the rolled oats. But the rolled oats will get moldy far, far easier than wheat bran. You cannot get it wet. Here they are. Well, like, it doesn't look like there's any. I don't know where they're at. They were in here. There they are. There. See how they nest? They nest. They're up against the edge. And they'll go to the warmest side. And in the morning, you see all these little skins all over the top over here. They all come up, rub themselves all over, get nice and fresh and clean, and then they go back down. Yeah. So you got to keep this dry. The only thing wet, and I never wash. I buy a brand I know that doesn't have pesticide tested. I tested it, make sure. Yeah, on little worms, make sure not these, but the ones in the other container. Just make sure. They didn't die. They thrived really good. But I only put that type of lettuce in here, and cabbage and carrot. See, carrot and the lettuce. It dries up practically overnight. And but once you just lay a few strips of it on top, they're swarming. They smell it, and they start swarming up, and then they're just like all over it. In my tub, I drop it in there for them. But if you give them too much, they start getting lethargic. That's the thing. I don't know if they're getting like waterlogged or what, but they love it. But if you let them have too much, they get lethargic. And then they'll just sit around like in here doing nothing. Now these are active enough. If they're not active enough, then the toads, these especially, American toads are different. They'll eat everything. They'll eat even things that don't move. They'll eat dead things. They'll eat canned tuna and hamburger. But these guys are more to the wild side, and so they will not eat unless it's moving. And they will sit there and look at these still worms, waiting for them to move until they finally give up and go to bed without eating. So, see how this guy, he likes this dirt? And I'm really super careful about, see, I used to put a little, what I'm careful about is I used to put a little bottle cap with a piece of an amount of cotton swab in there and wet it, and for them to drink. And they like it. But the problem is if the one of them's on there and the toady goes to do it, like he's gonna swallow that piece of I can't talk. Cotton ball. So, I don't know, if it feels soft, he might not gag it up. But I used to put I have a plastic container, turn the small tub upside down and cut little doorways, and put the lid with the little cotton ball on top. I thought I was filming myself and I wasn't. With the empty container over top, and it would have little holes cut, and then I had like a hole in the top so I could just water it straight down and not have to lift it up. But I just didn't, that was in a different container where I let these things run around, and they weren't necessarily in a dish. I tried all kinds of different ways to see if I could get these guys to eat more vigorously. So I got the vitamin A powder. You add it only once a week. Hold on. This vitamin A plus once a week. And I don't dust their, I'll tell you what I do. I add this every time I give them fresh water. So basically I'm putting a little brush. I remove the whole cap. I dip like the corner of it, and then I take it and I tap it into their water. Just tap it over their water. And I do the same thing with this. Tap it over their water. I do that this no more than once a week, no matter how often I'm changing their water, and this one every time I change their water. But when I put this, I do not neglect this. The best thing I ever did for them, for their tongue strength, was don't give them the quar. Quar is like no nutrition whatsoever. Don't give them the quar. It has nothing in there that they can use. They get weak. They were weak in there, and when I started giving them the vitamin A supplement, and just once a week, and not heavily in their water, like a couple taps, you'll see it spread out. That's it. Nothing more. Not a big clump, no clumping of it on the bristles. Well, that made their tongues start getting stronger fast, and they were able to get their food. And I'd gotten them this way from the they were weak from the guy I got them from. But after I didn't use the quar for a while, and they were just dependent on the water the supplement in their water. They got it a lot better from their water than they did from their food, because sometimes their food will sit there and they won't eat food for a couple days, but they'll get in their water and drink it every single day. So that was the trick, But the best thing I ever did was when I got originally my first time with like real dirt. I got the Miracle Grow organic. It did have perlite in it. It didn't seem to hurt them, and it says online it's harmless, It's very small pieces for the toads. I pick out by hand everything big. Anything I thought I didn't like the size of it. And their tongue power got real good, and their muscle, like they were walking around a lot more, moving around a lot more. And I was like, that's perfect. So keeping them in the dirt. When you bake, from now on, I'm going to get the Josh's Frogs dirt. As long as the moss doesn't keep giving a problem. If it persistently gives me a problem, I'm going back to the Miracle Grow with the perlite regardless. The only thing with the Josh's Frogs that I added was charcoal. Activated charcoal, the kind you use for the fish tank. It's in little small pieces. Something they can either pass or gag up. No bigger than that. But now, like their muscle strength has come back, and their tongue punch is much better, but they never use it on each other. They're too innocent, too loving, and too sweet. These are like very loving toads. They never territorial fight. They're all males, and they never fought territorial. Now, they might be a little different if I had a female and there was some competition, reason for competition, but amongst themselves, they loved each other. They were tender with each other, sweet. They could eat out of the same dish and never fight over it, never punch each other, never, nothing. Like, they look out for each other's welfare. They're smart, and they're really like very wonderful, unique frog. Toad. I really love them. I thought about getting an American toad because I miss my druthers so badly, and he was such an active little guy and so cute. But I would really feel sad if I saw an American toad tongue punch one of these guys, because they wouldn't know what they would be like, what the heck do you do that for? You know, they wouldn't understand why the cruelty, or why that, you know. And they would be victims of it. They would never do it back. So I don't want them to know that. I wouldn't mind having a pair of American toads on the side, just for the antics and the humor, and they're cute. It is funny when they tongue punch, but they don't mind doing it to each other. Me and my cousin used to beat each other and hurt each other. Rat tail fighting with towels and roughhousing, clear all the boys out of the neighborhood when they saw us getting going. Put holes in the walls. We put holes in our butts. big purple eggs on the backs of our legs. But we didn't mind. You know, we were a lot like those American toads. It was like, it's okay. If I can hurt you, it don't hurt. I'll laugh. As long as you let me hurt you, you can hurt me. But these, no, they are precious. They are. This is like, if an elderly person would like to have a sweet, sweet toad, oh my gosh, these are the ones. You got little kids, if your kids are really, really gentle, because I would always do supervision with the children. Never just, oh, here's your pet. No, not this kind of thing. Never. They're precious. They're really, really precious. And to me, oh my gosh, they are so precious. They're probably more precious than a dog, and I love dogs. I've got two. I don't love them more than my one little, no. I love them. They're in a category of their own. I love these guys. Look at him. He's so cute. I love him so. He's precious. So gentle. Yes, you are. He's so gentle. Even if you're a maniac, you're gentle, right? Yeah. And it's funny because their names reckon, druthers, and ain't. Reckon is the laid back one, so he reckons, you know. Druthers, he's either for or against. He goes either way. He doesn't anymore though. And ain't is absolutely a protester. Like, no. And it was funny because I just named them randomly, and it was amazing that their names just matched them so well. It is really a gaping hole without druthers. Just really an empty space. I thought that maybe American toad might liven things up, because they were more lively when he was alive. They were, you know. Actually, he got a big kick out of him every time. Reckon doesn't like to go in the water. And understandably even more so after he saw his friend die, but he probably had seen another toad die, or something happen, because he didn't like the water. He wouldn't go in it, and it, you know, like, see how you gotta have a place so he could go up here without actually going down into the water. He will not go over here. He will never go over here. He'll go this way, and he'll stick his butt, he just as barely as he has to. That's it. But this one, he'll go to sleep under the water. Him and his brother would just lay down in there. You'd find them. It look like they're dead and they're sleeping. But I don't like that either. It scares me. So since I've been keeping the water level down, like this far, you know, just barely letting the rocks stick out. They don't go to sleep in there like that anymore. And what was I saying? So he was very careful. And oh, that's right. So when Druthers would go into the water and play and splash, then he'd get excited and he'd come in there with them, and the two of them would play and splash. And then he'd get tired and go out, so I'd finish playing in there and splashing my fingers and making, he just loved it if the water was like splashing up and coming down on his head and splashing him. And he would literally, out of this little tank that was like 5 inches high, or so 6 inches, he would just get his little legs up there and plop himself out, and then come around and get all excited, and then aim himself, you know, and just like jump back in it and make a big splash. And he just loved the splash. He loved going and exploring the little crevices. And I just had a couple of larger rocks to build up the space, so because the small ones kept on he would push on them, I guess, digging around in them at night, and he would just push on. He wouldn't be able to get out. I was worried he wouldn't be able to get out, so I put a couple of larger rocks in there, and they were smaller than this one, yet bigger than those, and that's all it took. He was so curious. One time I saw him kind of get a little stuck. He got himself loose, and I was like, I have to rearrange it. So I rearranged it, and I thought everything was fine. I'm telling you, I just had no idea that he had enough strength to scooch himself behind the rocks, because he was still small. I mean, he had strength and got back there, and he couldn't figure out how to turn around. In the video, you could see he was trying to figure out how to get back the way he came, and he couldn't. He didn't know, and he didn't remember, or something. And yeah. You don't want to lose your toadies, you know. They're too precious. Yeah. Keep things very simple for them. They like their terrain changed up a lot. So on this side over here, right, I made it kind of like a pile, and they like to dig down underneath. They love that. I will show you. It's like a little pile. See? And they love this. But let me just set this down so I could do this work. You know, they gotta have it on this side. I just changed it from this side to that side because I wanted to give them a fresh idea, you know, some new terrain. But now I realize he wants to climb up there, and I'm like, okay, have it your way. You're going back the way it was. We'll just keep it over here. I need the light, so maybe I'm going to move it to the outside, but I'm afraid if I move it to the outside, the screen above just is going to block out too much. So I don't know. Maybe I'll put some black tape or something over that cord up there, so it doesn't look enticing to him. He thinks he can get up there. Yep. All right. There you go, buddy. There you go. Mom, the bulldozer hand here. You got your mound. See? There's your mound. We will plant your plant. And get them the fake one for now. I will maybe plant some live ones in here, but they'll just kill them because they love to do this stuff, this acrobat stuff. And you have to plan, so you can't have leaves sticking into your worms. They don't need any dirt that they can just climb up on top and use it for a ladder to get out, because then you might end up with male and female darklings in here. Sometimes they stick to the toadies. Sticky. They're kind of sticky, you know. Their legs and their bellies are kind of sticky. So sometimes they get out because they are sticky. And I'll try to just leave it here. It's not as convenient. I'm going to end up moving it closer to the front. There. Anyway. Yeah, that's the change for now. Just kind of make interesting things, because they get really curious about their terrain. They cover a lot of ground. They remember where they live. They go back to it, but they like interesting things, and they'll memorize great amounts of terrain, and they map it. They memorize it, and it's in their head. And they know they'll go farther and farther each time, memorizing more and more. So they cover a lot of ground, and they need to be, I can still over here. There he is. Anyway, they need a lot of exercise. If you don't have a large tank, I do want to get another large tank. They need really 40 gallons is really small. 40, one video guy says he cut out the glass on the side, and he linked up two 40-gallon tanks side, one in one long piece, so they had long running space. And kind of like the 20-gallon I had was like that. But I needed the door access really bad, and this is what I could afford to get. And if you just keep it interesting, they'll be going around. As long as he's busy all night, he can be looking for his escape route if he wants to, whatever occupies him, and just so that the area is different, just shift it a lot, make it interesting, switch things around, so that basically, they need a home hub, and if things kind of stay the same, like the mound with the plant stays the same wherever you put it, it's the mound and the plant, that will work. But you can switch up where they find the bugs. That makes it interesting. You can switch up what kinds of bugs. I put the darkling beetles in there. I was afraid to, because some types of darkling beetles, when they eat those toxic leaves in the wild, they can literally, or maybe if you have leaf litter, they can literally kill a mouse from the toxins that they store up in their bodies, and you don't want that to happen to your toads. I make sure I feed them nothing toxic, nothing whatsoever. So when I put them in there, they come right out and get them. And because the little bugs make a sound. They go tick, 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 tick. We can't really hear that when they're when they're walking around. But I know they make that sound because when I'm a kid, I remember hearing that sound in boxes when I put them in a little container, and I'd listen to the bottom of the container. Little autistic kid. I remember the sound, and so I make that sound, and then they'll start perking up their ears, looking, pop up their heads out of the dirt. When I say, look, see him? He popped his little sleepy face. Little sleepy face. He's looking at me. You shut your eyes again? Oh, he wants to. Oh, what's that? Is he over there? He's over there. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah. Yeah. You better go get him. You better go get him. He's over there. Go get him. And he gets curious, and he pops his head out. You can't really see him. He looks just like dirt. Go get him. There they are. He's right there. Anyway, They're a bunch of fun. I love them. They're so sweet. Like, to me, that is, they're sleeping when I wake up. They're sleeping all day, and about 6 o'clock, dusk. Anytime it's dusk, they're popping out. They're over there at the dish. They're looking in their dish. They like when the little critters run around. So what I'm doing is, while I'm watching the darkling beetles breed, I mark the females. You leave the males unmarked. So I just use like a Sharpie silver marker, mark the female with a dot. And I wait for them to finish mating, and she wanders off. Then I mark her. But I keep my eye on the male. I only want a certain number of males, because I mean, it is brutal for you to have too many males with the females. They just nonstop bother the female. Nonstop, like, it's terrible. So you need to thin out the males, and as long as you keep them thin, they're not aggressive. And I take the males, and then I can put the males in here, because I know for certain they're males. They just finished mating. I put the males can run around in here, and they won't breed. You just have to be careful with those getting out, because then if they turn into darkling beetles, you want to like go through the dirt. Every day, just go through a section and see if you find the worm converted into the pupa, and then take it out and go put it where you keep your pupas, or with your other worms, or whatever you do with them. If they're too many and my toads don't eat them when they turn into pupa, I just put them to sleep in the fridge, in the freezer, and then, you can feed them to birds. You can throw them outside in the grass and let the birds, ants, whatever, if you don't want ants around your house. No, I mean like out in the woods, where not, because we have woods. We have fox and coyote and one mountain lion one time. So, and these really gigantic, loud owls. They're very, very loud and spooky, but they're beautiful. They're good for woodpeckers and a variety of, I don't remember what they're called, but they look like a woodpecker. They're kind of in the woodpecker family, but they're like peach color, gray, black, slate blue, and white. Like, they're really pretty, and they make a pretty sound. They like them. Probably the squirrels will like them. So you could put them in your bird feeders, and really attract some really, really nice sorts of birds. And they'll be like defrosted and still kind of juicy, so you're gonna get some nice birds with those if you don't throw them away. Just keep them frozen till spring or summer. Anyway, yeah, so from now on, I'm gonna cook my dirt. I'm gonna get it, cook it first on the baking sheet. Big, it has a rim on it, a commercial baking sheet, and 230 degrees. Let it cool. Put it into a container. When it's not, like, turn it. You got to turn it, let it get dry. Then make sure it's good and dry. Then you put it in your container, and I have 2 large bags of these. They were $20 each from Josh's Frogs, the big size. So or medium. It's not the small, definitely. I forget how many. I think it's like a couple gallons each or whatever, but they were more than enough, and so I saved some, and I have at least one whole, it's like having a whole bag of Miracle Grow, because they're big bags, but it's enough that next time I only have to buy 1 bag, and I don't have to rid the soil, until they've peed and pooped in it enough. It becomes great for your house plants. You can throw some perlite in it if you want for your house plants, but it won't get gnats because it's been baked. I mean, they might go in it afterward, but you won't have them. You can bake all of your houseplant soil. It doesn't destroy the nutrient. It won't let the moss live, but the moss still functions. It just won't live, won't grow, won't get moldy. But so anyway, and then just, you know, top it off a little bit. Put some. I use a squirt bottle. I don't want to spray everything because spray gets moldy. But I just put it on the stream, and I spot wet, and just do that on a regular basis. So I use distilled water for that. See, it gets dry. You'd be surprised. A little bit of this can go a really long way if you're just doing it every day, spot wet. And sometimes they like it, you know, like he's sitting right there, and just where his butt is, very gently, just give him a little near his hind end where he can start drinking. And he's going to get all the nutrient out of this soil, because baking it doesn't kill the nutrient, it only kills the living stuff. So he doesn't like to be squirted, but he does like getting wet and drinking. He likes to sit in the soil and drink more than the water. He's afraid of water. But anyway, I could go on and on. I love talking about them. I love talking about what I do. I think your best bet is to soil. You know why the stream? Because if you spray, you're just barely getting the surface. Where if you spot stream, it soaks down better. It goes down in. And if you pour some, it'll like be in that one spot real heavy. And look who's coming out. Yeah, they're getting wet. You was looking for the bugs that were over here? I moved them. Yeah, if you pour just too much, then it just kind of like congeals all down below. And that's where you know, well, before I baked the dirt, it won't do that after you bake it. It won't get moldy after you bake it, but before you bake it, if you don't bake it, it will. And it'll just sit there, you know, until it like saturates out, but it takes time. And by the time it gets out there, it could do that. I just prefer. Oh yeah, and for the sterilization, after I removed all the moldy dirt, see, he just heard this. He's looking for, he probably would eat little mice. He would eat little stuff if he could get it. I used a bottle of a little shooter of Jim Beam. They were not in here. The dirt was not in here. It was all out, wiped down. But just to make sure about the mold, I took the Jim Beam on the cotton balls, you know, not a little bit dripping. I drizzled it on the bottom and sopped it with the already wet, and I wiped everything down. It was okay. It goes back in here, not heavy, just a little bit, all around the edge. This kind of tank is waterproof up to this point right here. So you could like have pond actually up to that point. But I just made sure I went over absolutely everything, the top screen, everything, and disinfected the plants. You have to go 160 or higher degrees. We have super hot water. And then I also washed them down with vinegar and then rinsed them off with the distilled water. But before I put everything back, then it makes really good window cleaner. Jim Beam cleans the windows beautifully. And I just, you know, wiped it all down with paper towel and made it all dry and shiny, and sopped out anything that might, like with the towel, that might just be in here. And let it dry real good. Just let it dry. The alcohol will dry. Let it dry. Once everything was dry, then I put everything back. The thing is, and I rinsed it too, like with the I didn't just wipe the Jim Beam. I went back over everything with the distilled water on the paper towel and wiped everything down really good. Reason why I used the instead of using vinegar to clean it, because a lot of people want to use vinegar to clean windows. With your toadies, they're gonna put their hands on there. And they get some vinegar residue. They're gonna get a burn. The Jim Beam, if you use Maker's Mark, it's more natural. It's actually got a lot of good, healthy stuff. It could be one of the healthiest things you can drink if you don't get addicted to the alcohol. Just from the ingredients, it's super healthy. You could look it up yourself. But it actually has good things for your heart in it. But see, now if the toadies were to get into like alcohol in here, that would hurt them, But once it's dry, if they put their hands on the residue, the alcohol is evaporated. There's no alcohol in it, and there's nothing that can hurt them. They can't get burned. They can't anything. It's just good, healthy stuff for them, like this soil right here. And so that's why I used whiskey. But I will probably invest in a little bottle of Maker's Mark because it's a little healthier. It's probably extravagant, but I just like to do. I don't have to, honestly, because I know that the Jim Beam is enough. The Jim Beam is very good. It's perfect. It really can't get more perfect than that. But the toadies aren't going to get real healthy from touching the residue of Maker's Mark on the window. That's just not going to be enough nutrient to make a big deal. So I'm just like, I'm talking. I'm not making sense to myself until I start making sense. So, but look at him. He's right here. He's watching me. Aren't you? You're looking to sneak out. You hope so, don't you? No, 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 no. 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 No, no. Don't tell me no. See how he wipes his face? He's like, I don't like that. No, no, no. I wipe my face at you, too. See? I'm wiping my face at you. I say, no. I don't want you to jump out. No, no, no. No, no, no. And they don't know nothing. Never hurts them. Never, never. Never, never, never. You're so cute. Yes, you are. So, yep, that really kills the mildew and everything too. And the vinegar will do it, but not like the alcohol in the Jim Beam. You could use wild turkey or whatever you got that's clear. Probably Bacardi if you want to. Just whatever you do, make sure it's like, not fancy, not sugary. I know there's a little bit of sugar in all kinds of whiskeys, but you know what kind of sugar I'm talking about. Those sweet ones where when it dries, it leaves the sugar crust. That you don't want. I rarely, just get a little shooter of Jim Beam. It's perfect. $2, $3. It lasts a long time. You don't need it very often, and it's just perfect for them to disinfect their thing without any chemical. So that's it. And I am getting ready. I'm sleepy, and they want me to get out of here so that they could be normal. They could go back to being the little funny guys that they are. Yeah, it looks all neat and interesting. You could change their thing just about every day. Just keep their house kind of the same way. That's it. If you got them living in a little log or whatever, keep everything like that set the same. You can place it different places because that gives them like a different orientation. They do have what birds have in there, so they can navigate. They know they've changed position, but they're visually it'll be the same, and they'll know where the house they'll recognize. Yeah, you just want to be loving to them according to their way, right? According to your way. He's so soft and so precious, yeah. He doesn't mind that. He's not getting prickly. He likes it. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. They know the words good boy. Every time they nab a worm with their little tongues, I call them lickies. When they nab a buggy with the licky, the wormy with the licky, I say, good boy, good boy, good boy. And when I even say that, they start getting hungry. You gonna be a good boy? You gonna get him? You gonna go get him? I make the same sound that they do when they open their mouth to get one. Go get him. Get him. Sometimes I'll face the bugs and then stick my tongue like quickly out like I'm nabbing one. And they watch me. They're so cute. And then they'll turn the same direction I was looking. And look what, you bugs over there? And you wash your hands when you touch them, you know, because if you get boof in your eye, it's not going to feel good. I get tingly. Whenever they get prickly, if they just get prickly, like he's not prickly now, but when it get prickly, instantly my hands start to tingle. It's not enough to harm you, you know, but if you did it like every day for a while, it would probably start to affect something. I played with them when I was a kid. I would kiss them. They would just be like, all the babies would hatch and they'd be, you know, a couple of inches and running around all over the place. I mean, inches body-wise, you know. And I'd be picking them up and looking at them, and oh my gosh, I just loved them. I'd look at their little fingers and their cute little eyes, and I'd turn them over and rub their bellies, and they just like, they would relax and kind of, they like their bellies rubbed. They'd pee on me, and being a kid, I didn't go in and wash my hands. I'm out all day with boof on me, you know. And then my mom and dad don't know why I'm coming down with tonsillitis, eye infections, sinus infections, bronchitis, you know, because I'm swallowing all. I had to have my tonsils removed. Kissing toads. And they never turned into a prince. No, they never did. Because dudes don't turn into princes very often. Right? Yeah, I see you looking. You'll not escape now. You know. No. You better be a good boy. You're running away. You don't even know where you would go here because it's in a different place. And you try to head the same direction and you couldn't get there. It won't be there. And I don't want him jumping and hurting himself because I keep their water down here. I've got some plugs. I don't want their toes going in the plug. But these are for like belts and bag straps and stuff. You can buy them at the craft store where they have the leather supplies. And then I just put I glued a magnet on first, little magnet. Glue that on, and then or you could better off glue this to the magnet first. Make sure you're going to face them all the same direction so you don't get opposites. Because I accidentally, because of my memory impairment, I glued opposites together and I couldn't get it off for the longest time and it didn't work. I finally chipped it off and re-glued it the right way and it was much better. But you want these both to be the same, you know, negative, positive in the same direction. And then on the other side, you want it to continue negative, positive. So whatever side jumps to attach itself to the magnet, that's the way you want to glue it. And you got to be pretty sure that you're doing it right because the glue doesn't come off. So if you do, I wanted to use the super glue because I could sit here and do it right now, like do it. And then the fumes would dissipate, wouldn't be as strong for them. Where if I use the E6000, which I'm going to end up having to do anyway, I have to sit here and wait, and the fumes, you know, they linger. It takes longer for the fumes to go away, and I don't want the fumes. So unless I can figure out something, see? And see, look. Now they behave a lot more like the American toad. I had dubia babies. I turned about 10 dubia babies loose, and that's what he's listening to. But if there's even a spider around, he can hear it and he will follow wherever it goes. And then later I'm like, oh, there's a spider. But see, he's... See, watch. At least he's hunting now. He's they look cute when they go in hunting mode. I love how everything pricks up. Their glands prick up, their veins pop out, all their bumps start raising. Their legs, they take a stance. The lines in their face become more pronounced with their curiosity. He just wants to get out. He goes all around, looking for an escape. He escaped twice. And he's just determined. He's always going to be an escapee from now on. So, he's marked. You're an escapee. You're a runaway. That's what you are. Reckon won't try to leave. Reckon is too sensible. He reckons he's gonna stay here. Ain't staying. He's gonna find his way out one of these days. I'll probably lose him again, because the minute I turn my back, he was watching me. He knew. I had a cat do that one time. I wouldn't let him come in the house because every time he'd go hide and he'd wreak havoc in the house, tear up the bread. I mean, you would not believe how much damage he did in one night. And I didn't think he was as smart as he was. I didn't know. I thought I could keep my head the same direction and move my eyes, but he watched my eyes. My head was the same direction, and as soon as I moved my eyes to see if I could push something out of the way so I could shut the door, he bolted right past me. And that's what this guy does. He looks, he waits, he watches you. He's making sure you're going to make an error. She did it before. Oh, I got to get this light out of here because they don't like light all night long. And this thing lasts for hours and hours. So, good night. I love you. That's what my little toady used to love. Druthers loved it when I said, I love you. He would come over and see me. I love you. He would get all excited and look for his pond and start trying to jump and say, come and skinny dipping with me. Go skinny dipping. I love you. I love you. Can I pet you? Can I touch you with my finger? Oh, he's a good boy, yes he is. You stay now, you behave. There's a lot of danger out there. Yes, it is. I don't mind if the dubias live in there and breed because, if I have to clean it, and I cook it, then they're gonna cook with it, unfortunately, but at least it gives them interest. They're very interested in bugs running around. And they would just collect right here in the edge. The babies would just stay right kind of at the surface on the side and a little bit under. And congregate. They met up somehow, smelled each other or something, and went in there like that and stayed there. But he would hear them and go back and forth looking for them, and he'd go on the prowl, with his little face pointed down into the dirt, looking like he's looking and hearing, and he'd hold still and freeze and wait for a really long time. Then he'd hear the noise somewhere else and he'd go out in that direction. But a couple of times it was just he was hearing bugs down here, and I'm surprised, man, they hear so well. They really hear amazingly well. So in here, I had broke my dubias into pairs. They bred. They wouldn't breed at all together, but once I put them in pairs here, they bred. But this guy, he was in a different container with a different female, 2 females, actually, and he could not breed. I don't know what is I don't know what's the problem. The other males bred with the female, but he's not able. He can't. I don't know why. He's infertile or something, or he's just not able. So I took his girls out. He's been a little bit sad. I gave him, I think, a different female. Oh, here he is. That's her. That looks like it's gonna turn into a male, but it can't be. That's a female. She's been a female forever. Now this is the guy. He can't breed, but he was really sad, so I gave him back a female. Just for company's sake. He kind of looks, I don't know.